Welcome all to a monumentous day in the US equity markets, in global equity markets, following US stocks plunging on the last session to the lowest levels in 8 months. The fear index, or the so-called fear gauge, is at its highest level in 7 months. Obviously, ongoing concerns about trade wars, and more recently spurred on by Donald Trump's messages to the Federal Reserve saying that he wants interest rates to remain low, and that battle between the Fed and the government continues. And of course, economically, those two bodies are to remain independent. And where you do see a mix of the two, or an interference between politics and economics, you do tend to get these investor worries. And as you can see, we've had big sell-offs in the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and pretty much a bloodbath in the Asian markets following that, which has been pretty interesting to see. So I really wanted to do this video to keep you guys updated, let you know what's going on, and let you know really what to expect. Just having a look at the European markets open now. Stock 600 down almost 2%. So we're really starting to see this sell-off, and a lot of people have been calling it for a few years now, especially after a near 8 to 10 year bull run of the US equity market. We're starting to see people coming in, selling up at the top. Question is the US economy, has it reached its peak? Is it as far as it can go? Are we going to see a correction now to the downside? So moving back onto yesterday's US session, stocks tumbled to the most since February. So the S&P 500, the lowest in 3 months. Let's have a look at some of these charts. Let's get the S&P 500 up. Here we are. So you can see a pretty significant move there across yesterday's session. Lowest level in 3 months. A bit of a rally during the futures day, but the tone is definitely bearish. The Dow Jones also plunged around 900 points, or just under 900 points yesterday. Again, you can see these moves in these charts. Excuse me, they're pretty significant, and we haven't seen anything like this for a long time. So this could potentially trigger a further move to the downside. I mean, the Nasdaq went down 4%. All 30 members of the blue chip index retreated. Boeing, Caterpillar, Netflix, all down over 3 or 4%. Computer companies really, and tech, leading the S&P 500 fall yesterday. So it's the longest slide since Donald Trump's victory, actually. So we're really getting some moves in the equity markets. Now the question is, will this continue? If we just have a look at what the Asian markets are doing as well, I'll just pull up this chart for you guys. So we look at the Asian market. So let's start with the Nikkei, and I'm just going to put over my screen here of my stock watch, and you will see you'll see a lot of red on the chart. Europe open down 1.5% already following this, and we'll just scroll down to Asia, and we'll see Asia feeling really the brute of the force here. Nikkei down 4% almost. The Chinese Shanghai Composite down almost 6%. So these are really big falls, and the MSCI index, which is the General Asia Pacific tracker, that's down almost 4% to the lowest level since May 2017. Taiwan taking a hit. Chinese markets pretty much in free fall here, and cryptocurrencies also taking a bit of a tumble. So look, I mean, what's going to happen now? What are the markets going to interpret of these moves? Let's have a look at some European markets at the moment. This is the DAX, obviously open a bit lower there, and the FTSE. I mean, they're all very heavily pressured to the downside. If you look at some charts on a longer term or higher time frames, I mean, we are operating at highs even in the European market. So we could begin now to start to see the market selling off and correcting, especially in the US. And what's happening is what we're starting to see is the US catching a cold, as it were, and the rest of the US sneezing. My fault. The US sneezing and the rest of the world catching a cold, more so in Asia, really feeling the brunt of the force there. So keep your eyes on the European markets today. Keep your eyes on the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, the FTSE, the German DAX, all of the major indices, and it'd be really interesting to see what plays out and potentially what opportunities you can pick out in the markets. Or just to touch off on a last point, we're seeing the yen really being brought up as a safe haven. Now, we called this a few days ago that a yen buying opportunity potential on our social media feeds. Do stay in touch with our social media channels, Twitter, Instagram. They'll be linked there in the corner. Have a look at them. We keep them updated on a very regular basis, so keep watching out for them. But what we're seeing now is a buy up in the yen. Yen is looking to be like the safe haven currency at the moment, so we could potentially see the dollar yen continue to clear these downward targets. I mean, if we get down to the 100-day moving average here, 111,277, that's probably a significant move to the downside. Already peak to trough around 263 points down there. So look, yen buying up, equities falling. Keep your eyes on these key markets, and best of luck with your trading.